Hello, good evening everybody. This is Martin here with being the Signal Chef here. So it's Sunday night here. I'm going to show you guys how to make a garlic soup, or in Portuguese actually, sopa de alho. So it's actually a soup that I learned from my father-in-law, and it's very simple. It's actually traditionally one made from some of the things that were sort of like they could only find in the pantry. But here we're going to get started. Let me take a sip of my wine here so I can relax, okay? So here we have. So what we start off with, basically, obviously you need some garlic. We have 12 cloves of garlic. That's what you need. You're going to need roughly about 3 ounces of olive oil. Then you're also going to need some cilantro. Now you can make it without the cilantro. You can make it with like parsley, and you can use that instead. We're also going to use about 2 teaspoons, of paprika. And then you're going to need some French bread, preferably, a day old. But if not, then you can actually warm it up, get it a little bit crunchy, so it looks kind of like this. And then we'll see what we're going to do with that later. Now you also obviously want, here's the fresh garlic, here's the fresh cilantro, okay? And then you're also going to need some chicken stock. Okay, so we're gonna not use, it calls for about 6 cups of it or water. So I'm actually gonna use about 4 cups of water, and I'm gonna substitute about cup and a half of broth as well. Because when you add the garlic, it's gonna actually taste really good, and you don't have to worry about adding so much chicken broth. And sometimes the chicken broth can be a little salty, high in sodium, so we want to eliminate that. Okay, it's gonna be pretty healthy. You guys ready to get started?
Yeah!
All right, so here we go. So we're gonna put in the garlic. We're actually gonna put the olive oil in first. I've had the pan warming a little bit. So we're gonna dump that in there. What we're gonna do is we're actually gonna get that nice and hot. And when it gets nice and hot, we're gonna use actually a wooden slotted spoon, okay, right here. So what's gonna end up happening is, it's gonna bring the heat up a little bit. And then when this olive oil is ready to, starts to warm up, you can check it, just feel your hand right over top of it. And the first thing that we're actually going to be putting in is going to be the garlic cloves. And so what will happen is, as it's getting toasted, nice and toasted, now you don't want it to burn. So, if it starts turning black, that's bad. It's going to make your olive oil really, really bitter. So you want to make sure it gets a nice, like a golden brown, and that's when you want to take out the garlic. And then it's ready. So then the next part that you're going to do, and I'll get to that, is that we're actually going to be putting the bread in there. So it's almost there. Almost there. In the meantime, cheers. Now, one of the things that my wife loves to cook with wine, we even have a sign up here that says, she likes to cook with it, but sometimes she'll put it in the food. So, as you can start here, now it's starting to get a little hot, and so we're going to actually go ahead and dump the garlic in there. And then we're going to just kind of do a slight sautés. Now, one of the interesting things about this is that you can actually make a pasta. It's also an old Italian pasta. It's very simple. You actually do the same thing with the garlic. You saute it, and I'm going to share that recipe another time. But it's very simple. In case you didn't know, I like garlic. Just turn it down, make sure I adjust it. Turn the fan on a little bit. By the way, you like to hack? Just so you know, just signal out, signal gear everywhere. Okay? Now, how did I get roped into this? Now, obviously everybody is making the videos, but I used to cook for everybody at the branches. So, I've always, try to do a little special for everybody. One of the things that's, people enjoy during the holidays to enjoy cooking for one another and sharing a little bit of their own expertise and sometimes of their culture. So that's actually pretty awesome when you do the cooking. Now, I've had people that, you know, I have to be careful with, you know, sometimes not everybody can eat certain things. And so you always have to ask, you know, what are the things that they can eat, whether it be pork, you know, cheese, dairy, some other things like that. So it's important to always ask your colleagues, you know, if there's something that they can't eat. Now I know I have a colleague out there, she's more of a vegetarian. And I know that actually I made the first vegetarian lasagna that I ever made, and she said it was pretty darn good. Now, here on the garlic, this soup you can actually substitute, because we're actually going to put some eggs in it at the very end, because it takes about 2 eggs per person. And you can actually substitute that with edamame. Hopefully I'm saying that word right, but obviously it's something that's a substitute. But because it actually absorbs the flavor of the garlic and all the other things that we're going to be using, it's an excellent substitute for that. Now, in case you're wondering who's actually videotaping me and sacrificing some of his time right now, it's actually my son. Now, my son's girlfriend is actually in the background. I'm not going to embarrass her because she actually doesn't want to be in the video, kind of like me, but I have to be on the video. So, but they're here, they're helping me with taping this segment, so hopefully you guys will enjoy the soup. And when we're done, actually Austin and Whitney will join me in eating the soup. So as you can see, it's starting to get a little golden brown here, okay? Now what I've done too is also I've got the water kind of starting to boil a little bit, because I don't want to take too much time. It can be done within like 30 minutes. But again, it's, you know, trying to prep everything and making sure you have it all ready to go. Like I said, you don't want it to burn, so it's important to kind of move it around a little bit. Now, if my son's not later on, actually my son makes a pretty darn good steak. My daughter, she makes that avocado toast, and she makes some pretty good deviled eggs. So we all kind of like to cook. It kind of gets us all, you know, to share what we all learn how to do. Now, I'm not Chef Ramsay, but I know that's one of their favorite guys, and you know, I'm not going to get in here and start cursing and yelling at anybody. So they'll be the only yelling at me. So. I'm going to turn the heat a little bit down on the water, just to make sure that it's not going to go. And I'm going to actually take this time right now. I'm going to add the chicken stock to that. Now sometimes you can adjust the, you know, you can put a little bit more oil if you want, if you feel like it's not enough oil to ensure that you're gonna, because what are we gonna do with this oil that it's got all the nice garlic and everything? Well, what we're gonna do is actually we're going to toast our bread in it. We're gonna toast our bread right here, and it's gonna coat it. It's kind of you're making it kind of like a garlic bread, but it's more natural. You're not buying it at the store. You can probably use Texas toast if you wanted to, but this is more natural. Now I try to keep a clean work area. So I'm going to actually leave that long enough. I'm actually going to remove that garlic from there. Now, as you can see, I mean, I'll show it to you. The garlic is not burnt, so it's, you know, it's nice toasty. Now, we can actually, you know, eat that as a snack later. You can actually rub it into some more bread if you wanted to, and then you'll be able to, you know, enjoy that. But it's actually still pretty good. I'm just going to turn that up a little bit, soak that in there. Now, I'm not using as much bread as I would normally use because obviously this is a video, it's kind of quick, but you can use more bread, you know, depending on how many people you're going to have. tablespoons here. And you want it to get nice and soaking in. It's gonna get kind of like a golden color to that, and you're gonna see that olive oil, and it's right now it's absorbing the garlic. Notice I haven't used any salt and pepper right now, and that's okay. You can adjust that later if you wanted to. What I'm also going to do is, once they're all ready, I'm just going to put them to the side. Now there's different ways to present this, but you know, since it's a Sunday night, we're just, you know, being sort of casual. You know, you don't have to be all formal. You don't have to, like, you know, plate everything and then have everybody sit at the table and what have you. It's kind of just like a, you know, it's a perfect day actually for it, because it's kind of rainy, cloudy. Nobody wants to be outside. You know, you can enjoy a glass of wine. And just so you know, it's only a glass of wine. Now you start seeing, start getting a nice little golden color on the bread. It's just exactly what you want. And you can see the water, you know, it's starting to boil again. And this is just, these are just about ready to be done. I've also got some that, this is just something that I do. Well, when I have the finished soup, everything is ready to put together, I'll just drop a couple of these like sort of razor thin garlic strips into the bowl. It just kind of has a little bit of touch there. Now as you can see, when you're, and I'll show you towards the end about how to actually, you want to take these off of the stem, then you kind of roll it, and then you kind of sort of chop it. Okay, so these are about ready to come out. You know, you don't have to like do them really fried. You know, you can do it to your liking. Some people like them crunchy. I know that my kids like them crunchy. You know, and then but also remember that once it's done, you're gonna put it in the soup anyway. And so then what we do is, and we take our paprika, and you see, you know, we're still utilizing the same oil. We'll put it down a little bit. We're gonna put the paprika in there, and you look at that. It just kind of actually gets in there. Kind of creates a little bit of a smoke and it enhances that flavor. And why do we need that? Because what we're going to do in a moment, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a ladle of that beef stock. And we're actually going to put it in there. Excuse me, the chicken stock. I'm just going to ladle in there a little bit to kind of. Now that's not what you want to do. So we're going to do that again. So we're a little bit too hot, so you can see that. And that's actually what you're seeing is a little bit of the color of the paprika. And how do we want to make sure that it's okay? So we're going to check it, and we're going to have to stop the video. So, okay, so we had a little bit of a problem. The fire was a little bit too high. And, you know, I'm going to reverse the sequence a little bit. I'm going to actually use the water first, then I'm going to put the paprika so it doesn't burn it as bad as it did the previous time. I'm going to put do it slowly, because I'm just putting it into a hot oil. Holy moly. Okay, so then we're doing that. All right. Boy, this is really getting crazy. All right, so we're going to do this. So we're going to reduce the heat. You ready? Amen. All right. we're gonna add the paprika. Now you could also do it where you just add the paprika right into the pot. I'll lower it. And then the paprika is kind of has a little smoky flavor. So there we have it. There you go. All right. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna take this, turn this off. We're good. We're gonna incorporate it into the oil and water. We're kind of ready to go. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it, actually mix it into the water. So then you're gonna have it all in there, and it's gonna add the flavor to our broth. Okay. There we go. And you can see the nice color of the paprika. It's in there. And now we're gonna take our cilantro. And we're gonna start putting it in there. Okay. And we're gonna try and bring that to a boil. And I can feel that paprika going up my nose. So I might have to sneeze here in a minute. And those of you that know me, I'm probably gonna sneeze about 8 different times. So, again, you know, with the whole oil and the paprika and the water, you know, certainly you can actually just go right in and put it into the pan. And so that way you're not, you know, afraid that you're gonna burn the house down, okay? So. So we're just doing that now. Now I'm gonna add just a little bit of water. I'm gonna add a little bit more water to it, just because I kind of like it a little bit, not as thick. Okay. And we're almost ready to actually plate it. You know, it doesn't take very long. You know, and you'll be able to actually just drop the eggs in there. You know, actually when they kind of come up to the surface, you can leave them there until they're sort of hard, or you can just live with a sort of medium, and then you can actually have like a nice golden yellow egg yolk coming in there while you're eating. And so now one of the things we want to do, which I haven't done as of yet, is kind of just taste the soup. Now obviously it's going to be a little hot. Not bad. So just add a little bit of salt on that. Stir that for a bit. Have a little more wine. All right, so I've let the water, the soup and the broth and the cilantro kind of all incorporate. The garlic's in there. I'm gonna drop the eggs in now. Obviously, you know, with the paprika, now I would actually recommend just putting the paprika into the water versus actually putting it into the oil, just because, you know, I kind of deviate a little bit than I normally do. So we'll do it that way. We're gonna put the egg, just drop it in there. Okay. 2. I'm gonna put 4 eggs in here just because 4 of us today. You can use more eggs if you want to. 2 pieces of garlic bread in there. And the egg should be about ready, you know, again, it's like how you like it. I know like most of my family like them a little bit soft when you put them in the water and you take them out. So you kind of like get it in there. And then so, you know, just plate one. And then what you do, so as you can see, we're gonna take some of our other ingredients that we've had over here. We'll take a little shavings of garlic. Just drop a couple in there. Okay. And if you wanted to get really fancy, you can just put a little piece of the cilantro there. And there you have it. Now I'm gonna have my son here taste it in a moment. So actually, my son said he didn't want to taste. He wanted to do the video. So it's okay, you know. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be the one tasting it. So as like I said, mine like the egg is just perfect for me. All right, and then so you know all the flavors are in there. And it's probably gonna be pretty hot, so hold on while I blow on it. Yeah, it's pretty good. Very simple. It's for a nice day like today. And hopefully you guys will try it. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. You know, like I said, it's something you can play with. You can enjoy it, and it's very easy to make within a half an hour. Just, you know, something simple when you get cold, whenever in the winter time. And you can make the eggs however you like to do them. Signal out.